Haskins was doing what we expected him to do. He was ascending. Hopefully the way he goes now, he keeps going up. All eyes are going to be on him. At the same time, you've got a new coaching staff, and they're not married to him. Well, I'm looking at Graziano's face. What was that expression there?
There's more to that. There were quotes before that were more positive about Haskins. But, yeah, this is what when new coach Ron Rivera has been clear. He has said we need to see out of Dwayne Haskins, we need to see him grow as a leader. We need to see him grow as a producer. We have other veteran options that we could go with, you know, in the meantime. So, yeah, I think not married to him is key here, right? I mean, Rivera's in charge there now. He didn't draft Haskins. He needs to see certain things from him. I think the key is the owner was very involved in the decision to draft Dwayne Haskins, and I think Dwayne Haskins is going to get every opportunity, in part as a result of that, but also based on what he showed toward the end of last year. So, interesting situation there for sure. As we've been discussing, very interesting veteran quarterback market this offseason if they want to go a different direction. Alex Smith is still on that roster and hasn't given up hope of returning to the field. So it could be a fascinating situation in Washington with Dwayne Haskins.
First thing you said that's the most important. Dan Snyder loves him. And last time I checked, he's still signing all the checks. The second most important thing I've heard said about this is them trying to bring Trent Williams back. Yeah. They're starting left tackle. Dwayne Haskins, he's not Kyler Murray running around. And so you have to find a way to protect him in the pocket, draft some weapons around him. It's not that I think Ron Rivera doesn't like him, but Ron Rivera is one of the more old school coaches in the NFL where they just don't hand out starting jobs. You're going to come in here, especially at the quarterback position, you're going to earn it. You're going to earn it from the veterans. You're going to earn it from the coaches because I think he's a young guy that's talented. And let's not also forget this. He's only started about 20 games in his career through college and the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point that I think is really important here. This guy showed a lot of skill, a lot of talent under Ryan Day at Ohio State, and it was enough to get him drafted in the first round. Some people thought he would go a lot higher, but he just doesn't have a lot of experience, Cliff. So he's in a situation where every single time that we're seeing him, he's learning on the fly and having to do it on a really big stage.
He is, but I think they have to give him a fair shot, though, right? Because he has no weapons around him. He has one of the, arguably probably one of the best offensive tackles sitting on the bench, not happy with the medical staff. He doesn't have any weapons around him. So give him a fair shot at actually being able to go out there and be productive. I do think him not playing last year was early on in the season was huge because it allowed him to see the speed of the game. It allowed him to understand how the NFL works. But again, he doesn't have that many game reps, even from college. He doesn't have that many game reps to actually go out there and show what he has. But give him a real chance with players.
It has long been my contention that far more young quarterbacks in the NFL are ruined than developed. And I sincerely hope that has not already happened to Dwayne Haskins. But if you wanted to look up a perfect method to ruin a young quarterback, you couldn't do it any better than they've done it. From the moment they drafted him, when everyone on planet Earth wanted to make it clear the coaching staff didn't want him, but they didn't get rid of the coaching staff then, they waited until 5 or 6 games into the season to do it, so that everyone knew he was the object of this tug of war between ownership and the head coaching. Then he's in there, he's not in there. Now they're married to him, they're not married to him. We just said Cleveland. What can you say except build him up? John Gruden, what can you say except build him up? Washington, we're not married to him. They didn't want him in the first place. Yeah. And if you didn't want him, you shouldn't have taken him, because that's a kid with a lot of talent who obviously needed to be developed. Laura just pointed out, he played so little football, it's ridiculous. And what they are doing is the definition of how to ruin a young player.
Bobby said it's not that Ron Rivera doesn't like him. The point is Ron Rivera doesn't know him, and they're starting from scratch. This new coaching staff is starting from scratch with this quarterback who played about half a season last year, and they'll see what they can build off of that.
And by not starting him at the beginning of the year, you fire the coaching staff, and everything goes up in turmoil. But he didn't have the opportunity to go out there and fail early on. So he comes in, he wasn't viewed as the problem. People looked at him as maybe part of the solution, did a much better job in the second half of the year, so he can build on that. But Greeny, I agree with you. Like, they almost have destroyed this kid's career. It's going to be critical for him to get back on track.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube.
For more sports, highlights, and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app.
And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+. We'll see you there.